Welcome back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. We're going to talk about everything that happened at Backlash. Considering just jump on the bandwagon, everyone's been doing it, including including Dan Housen, who done a hilarious version of the 2005 Backlash video that you guys need to check out. But look, we're here to talk about Backlash. It happened last night slash this morning. One of WWE's B-rated pay-per-views. Five-match card from Tampa, Florida. Kicking off with Seth freaking Rollins against Braun Breaker. I really enjoyed this match actually. I feel as if this match was Braun Breaker's best match since going up to the main roster. He's had some better ones in NXT, but in terms of main roster match, I feel as if, this one for him was the best one. Seth Rollins can work, a great match, to be honest with you, with pretty much anybody. These two have great chemistry. There was a real aggression in a lot of their moves that they tried, because obviously this feud is a bit of hatred, obviously, them turning on Seth after WrestleMania last year. Obviously, we've had injuries since, and we haven't quite had the sort of story and time to build it up before Seth got back. Then Braun got injured, so it was kind of like this was meant to happen at WrestleMania. And I feel like they made this match kind of like the WrestleMania match that they wanted. So they had that feel. They elevated. I think this match was two or three times better than a match that we may have seen between these two on Raw. I feel as if they tried to deliver a WrestleMania match quality in terms of wrestling, and they did. There were some good spots in here. There was a few awkward ones. Seth tried to flip over the back of Braun during a move, and he had kind of fell down. There was one off the top rope as well. There was a great transition when Braun tried to spear Seth into the pedigree. I thought that spot was so well executed and so well done. I really, really enjoyed uh, that spot anyway. But look, obviously, the vision being the vision, we was always going to get interference, and a Seth hit um, one stomp. Oh, I must say before that, there was a great Breakensteiner, as it's now called, instead of the Frankensteiner. Really enjoyed that. That was just before the pedigree I was talking about. And then he hit the stomp. Paul Heyman got up on the ring apron. Out comes Theory and Logan Paul, obviously. Rollins did beat them down with a chair, curb stomp to Theory at the same time. Then he and one of Braun Breaker's trademark super spears where he hits the ropes bounce. He done that from a clothesline as well in this match, during this match as well. They picked up the victory, did Braun Breaker. Fantastic. I really enjoyed, as I said, I really enjoyed this match. I knew the interference was coming. I don't necessarily know if it was needed, but perhaps to further the feud down the line. I know Rollins has been working with the Street Profits as a tag a bit as well. They've been sort of coming to their aid a little bit. So whether or not we implement the Street Profits into this, Seth Rollins made a good point during this feud about Paul Heyman as well. He kind of said he's saying to Braun in a promo that Paul Heyman kind of leaps and leeches onto the next big thing, so to speak, and we kind of wonder whether that will play out a bit, maybe to the back end of the year. Braun Breaker will probably at some point turn face, and whether or not Seth is planting those seeds now for that to happen later on. And maybe a case of later on at the back end of the year, start of 2027, they team up. Who knows? But nevertheless, a great victory for Braun Breaker in this. And, they're always going to have a great match. I'm looking forward to the next one because there's bound to be another match between the two. And maybe they'll do one with a stip at some point. I hope they do. That would be really, really good. I think that could elevate it again, But match quality wise, you're always going to get a great match out of both of those, and they did their best to literally kill each other tonight. So God knows what's next. But great, great opener for Backlash. I'm going to do that every match, so I'm apologizing to you right now. The next match at Backlash. as Downhausen would say. It was the United States Championship match. It was Trick Williams with Lil Yachty again. I, I've got no time for that. No disrespect to Lil Yachty. I know he's not sort of involved, so to speak. You can maybe see him turning on Trick at some point. I hope that doesn't set up a match down the line at a two-night SummerSlam coming up in August. It could do though, right? Anyway, Trick was defending the United States Championship against Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn tagging the fans as he was coming out. Now he's kind of been moving towards a heel recently. I don't quite know if that's something that's still going to be happening or not, or what the deal is with Sami Zayn. But today the fans were there; they were tagging him, he was tagging them. So, you know, whatever with that. Trick Williams is over AF. He doesn't even need Lil Yachty. I think that's part of the problem here. He doesn't even need somebody with him. That man is over. He is the crowd are already into this guy. He is a superstar in the making in the WWE. You know, you could argue that he's a superstar now, but he's a superstar in the making in the WWE, and it shows you already the crowd are invested in Trick Williams, and that is a place where he certainly wants to be. Whether or not he needs to be a face or a heel or not, I don't know. I think because he's got that sort of music, right, and everyone's sort of whoop that trick. Whether he eventually turns heel and changes the music, he might be one that needs a music change for the heel turn to take full effect. I don't know down the line. But look, right now he's over, and the crowd are absolutely endearing to him, and they love that theme song. This was a solid match on this. Sami Zayn had his greatest hits in this, the Blue Thunder Bombs, you name it, Sami Zayn hit it, so to speak, in this match. Lots and lots of shenanigans in this. There was the kendo stick that Lil Yachty had that Sami Zayn got that he hit Williams with. You know, Sami Zayn definitely worked a heel match, albeit tagging all the fans as he come out. And he's kind of at the moment unwilling to accept. I think he's a heel, but in his head he's not, but he's working like the heel. I think that's where we're going. Maybe at some point, Sammy does do the full heel switch in this. Um, Although he did have I'm sure he had a sign saying Sami Zayn's ride or die or something like that on there. Um, Sami Zayn did hit Lil Yachty on this. He had a really nice DDT onto the steps as well during this match with Trick. I enjoyed that. But as Sami Zayn rolled back in, he kind of hit a haluva kick to the back of the head of Lil Yachty. And as he rolls back in, he misses the haluva kick on Trick. Trick hits the trick shot, and Trick Williams picks up the victory. But like I said, solid match. Is it over? I mean, they've done this whole gingerbread man funeral on SmackDown. I'll be quite honest and frank with you. I fast forwarded it through SmackDown. I haven't got no time for that crap. Um, I think this will benefit both. This kind of feud and program that these two in will kind of benefit both wrestlers in this. It will put Trick over as a massive baby face. It will eventually have Sammy turn into that full-blown heel. So I think this works. Does it continue now? I mean, Trick beat him at WrestleMania. Trick beat him at Backlash. I don't necessarily think we need another Sami Zayn Trick Williams. Perhaps now we can reinvert Carmelo Hayes into this, but have Trick be the heel because last time Carmelo, yeah, last time Trick was the face. Maybe the roles are reversed. I don't know. Well, we'll have a look at that. But maybe it's now time for Carmelo Hayes to be included into the United States Championship picture once more, and maybe rekindle that feud with Trick Williams on the Blue brand, which right now is, I think, is struggling in terms of television quality and shows it needs something. Gunther is now on SmackDown. For those of you that haven't seen it yet and don't know, he's signed for SmackDown. He's got a main event with Cody Rhodes coming up, a clash in Turin or Italy, I believe, um, coming up, which is interesting because the last time WWE done a clash or something in another country, Cody Rhodes lost the championship to Drew McIntyre in that Three Stages of Hell match, if you all remember. So, bit of a side note, but interesting times. From the Sublime 2 matches to the absolutely ridiculous, this was The Miz and Kit Wilson. They were going against Danhausen and a mystery partner. There was a lot of rumors out there that were saying it was going to be Jelly Roll and all of this, and there was a lot of, I think we were getting ready for something here that did we want to see Jelly Roll again? No. So Danhausen brings out the big sort of casket thing that he debuted in, and much to the chagrin of Danhausen, what was out or what came out of this was mini Danhausen, El Jarito, I think he was called. He had the WLC match, I think, with Hornswoggle all those years ago. The priceless bit with this, which I thought was hilarious. Um, as the mini Danhausen or mini Hausen comes out, Danhausen's like, and he just looks at the camera and he's like, ah, shit. And he just shrugs his shoulders and then they go to. I thought that was probably better than the match, to be honest with you. When I say this was dumb, I mean in the best way. It was the comedy match. Your crowd had kind of been up here for the first two. This kind of settled it. And when I say brings the crowd down, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but you need that kind of you go on that roller coaster, or you should go on a roller coaster when you're at a show. And this kind of brings it down. Obviously, Miz and Kit have both been cursed, and it kind of played into this. There was times where Miz grabs a fire extinguisher he got recursed, I think, by Danhausen and Minihausen during this because the fire extinguisher didn't go off, which I thought was hilarious. And then as Miz in typical cartoon Tom and Jerry style, Miz looks at the hose, it goes off in his face. Minihausen took out Kit Wilson with a dive, and Danhausen basically boots Miz's head, Miz in the head, sorry, to get the victory. So this was what I would call a classic Tom and Jerry style Home Alone, for maybe one of a better phrase, when the burglars get in or finally make it into the house, kind of match. Is it everyone's cup of tea? No. Did it get the job done with this? Yes, I think it did. Do I want to see it again next week on SmackDown? No, I don't. I don't quite know what to do with Danhausen, but I think whatever WWE is doing in terms of getting him on screen is working because he's selling a load of merch, which is exactly really what WWE brought him in for, to make money, and he's making money. So you can't really argue with what they're doing with Danhausen because they're doing exactly what they should be doing with him. So there we go. Danhausen and Minihausen picks up the victory. Um, the next one. So this is an interesting one now. So there's been a lot that's come out of after this match. It was Io Sky and it was against Asuka. Now, before this match even begun, the big "We Want Kyrie" chant, or Kyrie chant, sorry, started this match off. But these two, this was brilliant. This may have been, I don't know, was this match of the night? It I don't know. It's close between this one because Roman and Jacob was also very, very good. So was the first one. This was brilliant though. And they told a fantastic story in the ring, did Asuka and Io. They were so what I loved about this, because sometimes, in a match you can have too many near falls, you can have not enough. It was the perfect blend of this. We had some fantastic near falls. We had some great submissions. And, if you could partner two wrestlers to go against each other in the ring, these two are like soulmates in terms of what you can do, how they wrestle each other. It was just poetry. Poetry, poetry, poetry. I mean, there was a bit into this when Asuka rolled through a move and it was 2.9, 8 when she kicked out. But finally, The over the moonsault from Io Sky picks up the victory in this match and wins it for Io Sky. But here's the talking point. Following that, uh, Io Sky bows to Asuka. Asuka like starts to cry. They hug. It felt like Asuka was saying goodbye, or this was the last match, perhaps, of Asuka's WWE run. Maybe I don't know. She posted something on social media with her looking out of a window, saying, "I kind of like with the song My Way on there." I don't know whether this is the end of Asuka and WWE. There's been nothing that's come out since. So there's been no denial or confirmation that that was the end of Asuka's run. So I think what we'll do, we'll talk about it a bit more in this week in wrestling with Dave, a bit later on with David, a little bit later on today, and that'll be out for you guys later tonight. But I think what we'll do is we will withhold judgment on that for now, because you can talk about it and it could come out that it's not, and then you're kind of talking about something that you don't need to talk about. So I think what we'll do is we'll have a little potential chat about it tonight on This Week in Wrestling, and then we'll continue it on the Raw review on Tuesday night, because we'll have a bit more information. I think by then it will come out a bit whether it was or it wasn't. We'll have a bit more clarity, I think, of the situation. So we'll leave it at that for now, but a fabulous match. And if that was her last match, fantastic way to go out, but we'll wait and see. John Cena was here. We saw him. Yes, he was available to be seen at Backlash. Had to get it in. Had to get it in. So it was a big reveal about what this big announcement was. There was a lot of rumors speculated. I heard a whisper that he was potentially fronting up the new NXT Europe, which it wasn't. So it wasn't that. It wasn't nothing to do with WWE Club, which was the other thing, or Club WWE, which was the other big thing. This, instead, he wants to make basically give people an opportunity, and the WWE Universe will get to vote will vote to crown the champion of the John Cena Classic. Every participant will have to qualify, but for the first time, everyone who doesn't win their match will be crowned a champ. Well, could still be crowned the champion based on the fan vote. So that is interesting. Interesting. I need to. I was taken aback, to be honest. I was literally expecting to come on here and rant that John Cena was going to announce about WWE Club. The fact that it wasn't, and it's this is interesting. As long as the votes are legitimate, and this is not just a way of WWE palming a championship or whatever off on somebody that they want as the champion, then this could be interesting. I'm intrigued by this. I would like to know more. I want to know now. I mean, he did put the likes of Obafemi over, Sal Ruka over, Javon Evans over, put all them over in this speech. But ultimately, this is about the champion. This is about the John Cena Classic. So we'll see. I'm happy that it was something totally out of the realm, and it wasn't just a load of crap about Club WWE trying to get you more money out of you fans or us fans, shall I say? And it's intriguing. Intriguing being the operative word. I need to find out the ins and outs of this, but ultimately, you could have somebody in this. Could he? Is it? Do they have to qualify to be eligible for the vote to crown you champion? Is it someone you could have somebody that doesn't even get through the qualification that's available for a vote? We need to work out a bit more about this. But other than that, it's a very intriguing announcement, and it could be your way of WWE testing the waters for some brand new competitor to come in and see how they do as champion. So I'm not against it. I really am not against this. I just need to see how it pans out. But intriguing is a good word to use. So that match, of course, was before the main event the main event of at Backlash. Um, you're gonna get. I know you're sick of me doing this. You haven't got to worry. There's only going to be one more. It'll be at the end of this. Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu. I did like what I will say about this, and what I will say to its credit, there was no outside interference, which I thought there was going to be in this. I really, really did. What they did do in this was still, and I love what they because the Tongan Death Grip. I think it was Haku's finisher. I think back in the day it was Haku's finish. The fact that they're putting this over as a legitimate, terrifying move, I think is fabulous. By the way, a bit more on that in a minute. I felt the finish of this made Jacob look a bit weak. So during the match, the turnbuckle gets ripped off in this, and there wasn't actually, I don't even think there was a ref bump at all in this, which is again highly surprising. You would expect it to happen because it's the main event, and generally WWE does ref bumps, and that's when the interference happens. But there was no interference. He did have the tongue and death grip on Roman. He did manage to get to his feet. Oh, he did do the ref bump. Sorry, there was a ref bump. When he got to his feet, he crushed the ref in the corner. Reigns did count a pop-up Samoan drop into a Superman punch, I did love that. Spear, ref was up, kick out by Fatu in this, which I thought was great. And again, the Tongan Death Grip was put on. Reigns was like hopelessly trying. He even grabbed the referee. That's when the turnbuckle pad got ripped off. And while the referee was turned around, Roman hit Jacob's head into the turnbuckle. He was dazed. He hit the spear. Roman Reigns picked up the victory. Now, my criticism, I suppose, of this, from my opinion, it made Jacob Fatu look really, really weak because you're telling me that one hit, this guy is an absolute lunatic. And you're telling me that only one hit on the exposed turnbuckle and then a spear. Roman didn't do three spears. Roman didn't go head into it, Superman punch, spear. That may have more of an effect because you're trying to make this Jacob Fatu out to be a monster, this guy that you have to struggle to beat. Now, granted, he did have the tongue and death grip on Roman a couple of times, and Roman did look weak in that moment. But to only have to hit his head once on the exposed turnbuckle and then hit one spear, this is the time, and I don't like finishes have to be redone, right? I'm not a fan of that. You know that. But I do say that when it makes sense, it should be done that way. And in this occasion, I believe that it should have been done. Hit his head on the turnbuckle, hit the Superman punch, and then hit a spear, or at least a super spear when he has to do that would have made it more impactful and effectful to beat Jacob, not just doing it the once. But what I will say is Roman did win the match, but Fatu gets up near enough immediately and puts Roman back in the grip. Fatu super kicks Hurricane that come out. Uh, he eventually left, but then come back, put the Tongan Death Grip back on Roman. It took about seven people to pull off Jacob Fatu. So he still ended the night strong. I just think it was a bit of a reach only to have him needing one spear after hitting his head. I mean, he took some spears beforehand, don't get me wrong, but just to have the one spear to finish it after his head hits the exposed steel, I'm not quite sure that was the way to go. They may have saved it at the end with him doing what he did, but overall, you know what? Sorry, at Backlash. It was good. It was a good show. Listen, it was a B-rated pay-per-view. If you're tiering pay-per-views or levels of pay-per-views, that was a B-tiered pay-per-view. It lived up to it. Most of the matches, Danhausen's aside, were very, very well done. We don't know what's happening with Oscar. We have to wait and see with that. Braun and Seth was fantastic. Oscar and EO was fantastic. Uh, Trick and Sammy was very, very good. Roman's match was good. Danhausen we didn't really need. But overall, the pay-per-view I thought was good. I thought it was good. It wasn't, was it great? No. But it was good going on great. From a B-rated pay-per-view, from a B-rated pay-per-view expectation level, it hit it. Um, I still feel there's more to come with the WWE. They got a lot of stuff coming up actually. They're coming on tour in Europe next month as well. Lots of stuff. They're kind of moving wrestlers around. We're kind of in like a phase of transition right now with the rosters. We've got new people coming in, we've got people going, we've got releases and all that sort of stuff. We'll talk about that a bit later on with David on This Week in Wrestling, of course. But yeah, a decent show. Decent show. But like I said, coming up later on today for you guys, it'll be out this very late in the evening in the UK, bit in the afternoon in the US. This Week in Wrestling will be out next week on the Hitting the Turnbuckle. Jeez, it's an interview a day, Monday through Friday. We have special guest interviews. We start on Monday with Independence Showcase in Scotland. Austin Brooks joins us for an independent showcase Scotland. On Tuesday, we're collaborating with our good friends over at CCP Podcasting, Chris Page, promoter extraordinaire. We share our love for independent wrestling, and he is coming on to talk about his latest show, his next show, and the whole CCP podcasting family that he has brought on. It's tremendous. Make sure you take a look at that. Wednesday, AEW Ring of Honor star Billy Starks joins us on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. She's going to talk everything about Ring of Honor with Supercard of Honor, and she's in Survival of the Fittest in the Ring of Honor show coming up. So she joins us this week as well. On Thursday, potential history making moment. And ahead of that potential history making moment, we have the TNA X Division champion, the youngest in charge, Leon Slater, will be joining us on the podcast ahead of what could be a career defining week. And finally, on Friday, PWA's and well, Australian referee Ref Hannah joins us on the show as well. All the review shows as well next week, so it's going to be a damn busy week. We are recording interviews next week as well. We'll announce them as we do them next week. We've got some really booked in for the week after as well. We're very busy. We're going to be recording another top 10 this coming week as well. The top 10 greatest matches on Monday Night Raw. Myself and Michael Jolly will be doing that. We'll have Dave's list as well. We're going to be filming another Turnbuckle Arms. We had a great debut episode of that. I'm going to be, for once, the guest, not the host. Our good friend Michael Jolly will be opening up the Turnbuckle Arms for another session of discussion around the great world of wrestling. So keep it locked on that. HTT Buckle everywhere. But we'll be back a bit later on tonight with This Week in Wrestling. Until then, everybody, take it easy, take care, and goodbye.